Well, hello friends and followers. Here is the Omni 6 I'm working on. I think this might be an Omni 6 Plus, actually, that was never marked as an Omni 6 Plus, just because the firmware version in here is in the Omni 6 Plus range 2.20. So anyway, long story short was when I got this radio from eBay, it wouldn't receive, it was told it wouldn't receive, told it wouldn't transmit. It would work for maybe a minute and then the display would lock up. It would receive, but that would go away too. So I've probably worked on this thing about 3 days and not made much progress, but here it's been running now for about 5 minutes, which is a miracle, and it's not locked up yet. So anyway, what I did was I pulled the CPU card out. I didn't document how I did that. I should have, but I pulled that card out, and on the bottom of the card, all the solder, there were a couple of fishy solder joints. And let's see, it's still working. Yep, there were a couple of fishy solder joints under there. Just didn't look too good. Anyway, I'm desperate here. Didn't know what to really do. The thing's locking up every so often, so I pretty much resoldered half of the solder joints on the bottom of this card, including all the ones that look fishy. There were a couple were missing some solder, not many, but it just takes one to cause issues. So I probably hit half the joints on this thing. I hit all the joints on this mux thing here that does the I/O. I think I hit them all on this guy on the CPU. Hit a bunch on that. I also pulled out every single chip and resocketed. I didn't pull a DSP out, but I pulled out this chip here. I pulled out the DSP firmware and the regular running firmware here for the board. Pulled those out and reseated those. Anyway, I'm not sure what was glitching this thing. I have no idea, but did a bunch of resoldering on the bottom of the board. So if your Omni 6 Plus is acting kind of flaky, you might want to pull the CPU board out and simply resolder the hell out of the bottom of the board to maybe hit something that's loose. And they run this thing at like 5.56, 5.7 volts. They kind of fake the ground here and have like a diode in series, so that actually the regulator is putting out 5.6 volts. I'm not sure why they do that. I basically was grounding the middle lead to give it a 5 volts out exactly, thinking something in here was overheating. That didn't do any good. So I finally pulled the CPU board out, this whole board out, and simply resoldered the heck out of the bottom of it. So it's still working. And when I would try and transmit, this thing would always lock up, and now it's transmitting. I'm not locking up. I'm not getting much power out of it, but I don't really have a proper power supply wiring on it, so I'm not able to get much out of it, but I can transmit now. And let's see, does this meter show me it's working at all? No, it's still not quite right. I can't get any reading from this meter. There's a current for the transistor there. It acts like this meter's not connected. Yeah, it's not working well. Yeah, the meter's flaked out. Anyway, I can see some power coming out of my antenna tuner here, so I know that I'm getting some power out. It's not much, 10 watts or something, but that's kind of proof du jour that this thing works in all bands and transmits, so I'm happy about that. It doesn't put out much, but it's working, so that's hope. And it's not locking up now, so there's 80 meters. I can try and transmit on there. I'm only getting like what? Let's see, on this thing, 200 watt scale, I'm only getting 10 watts or something. 10 watts is all I'm getting, but you know what? It's a start, so I'm pretty much getting 10 watts on all bands. But you know what? I'll take that over nothing working. So that is progress today. And I've kind of been, there's 40 meters. 12 watts. I've kind of been working this thing all day, so. And you can see that the wiring I have for the power is not too good because the meter's going dim. Anyway, there we go. Let's try this band here. There's 20 meters. Let's see, am I getting power on the meter now? Yeah, the meter's showing power now, so when I dial the power back, it goes off. Maybe 15 watts on 20 meters. Anyway, it's a start, you know? This radio was not working too well. Anyway, so yeah, if your Omni 6 Plus is flaking out, take out the CPU card, reseat all the chips that you can reseat, the 2 proms, and reseat this guy here, and simply resolder a lot of joints on the bottom of it that look fishy, and that may get you out of the woods. One guy was commenting on my channel that his Omni was not working either. So I'm gonna say, yeah, go ahead and resolder the CPU. I kept thinking maybe the CPU card's dependent on feedback from the PLL, and I would think it would have a PLL error, but it might be independent of that. It might not have a feedback it needs. I don't know. I don't have any visibility into the firmware, so. But there's power there on 18. Whoops, turn that off. 28, okay, there's a lower band there. Let's see. Power on that. A little bit of power there, not much, but there's some. So it does transmit all bands, it looks like. Here's 10 meters here, let's see, 10. Okay, there's 10 meters, and yeah, I'm getting transmitted all bands now. I don't think 160 works, but the rest work. 160 I don't think works, but that's life in the big fast lane here. All right, transmit on 160. What do we got here? No, 160 isn't transmitting at all, but hey, we got the popular ones. All right, that's my video on the Omni 6 Plus. I hope you didn't get bored too awfully terribly on this video, but again, this video would not even work for the length of this video. I now have an 8-minute video here, and the video wouldn't stay on for more than a few minutes. It would just lock up, so yep, I think resoldering the CPU card randomly and aggressively helped. So whatever we had in there, it was a thermal connection that after so many minutes on a chip, it would freak out. I still don't have the receive working, and that might be because I have some wires in wrong. I'm not quite sure where these wires go. I didn't really take a look. I should look in the previous video. One says new, one says old. Maybe I got this mixed up and the receiver won't go, or I got an additional problem, but I know I am receiving just because I can go to 40 meters and I can see the meter is working when people are yapping here, so you can see that there's activity on here. So I know that I got receive, and we now got a radio that will power up, so I'm happy about that. I can turn it off, turn it back on, and it comes back on. It didn't ever do this. Okay, so I'm happy. And to the guy that says I mumbles on YouTube, I mumble. I'm trying not to mumble. I'm trying to enunciate. How's that? All right. Have a nice day, people. I guess it's been a successful Friday. No, I didn't find an IT job. I lost my job 2 months ago. I got laid off, but hey, I got a radio here that's working better. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.